Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Randall. This is the McClures. We react, review, look at, make fun of stuff. Today we have James Klug. Do people think Republicans are fascist? Volume 2, Part 2. So he's done a couple of these series. He's a really good street interviewer. He goes around and, basically surveys the public and asks them what they think on different topics. Let's see how retarded some of these retards are.
Why would we want to restrict gun rights in the United States if that was an actual worry in our country?
Why would we want to restrict gun rights?
That's correct. So to
stop
stop these fascists, we need to take away all their guns. They need to hand their guns to the federal government. What's going on, everyone? James Klug here. Welcome back to part 2 of Do People Think Republicans Are Fascists? Let's jump back into the video. Huge shout out to our friends over at Undertac for sponsoring this video. Joe Biden recently referring to MAGA Republicans as semi-fascists, and I want to know if you guys agree with the rhetoric or if you disagree with the rhetoric. Where do you guys stand?
I agree.
You agree?
I do.
Okay, what do you think?
Absolutely.
Do any of you guys agree with that rhetoric or do you disagree?
I agree. Absolutely, 100%. He's nailed it.
They all agree.
Are you wearing a Trump flag as a cape?
Yeah.
Do you agree with the rhetoric or do you disagree with the rhetoric?
Guy.
What do you think?
He's crazy. No, I disagree with him. I think the Dems are freaking nuts because we are in such a mess with the economy, with crime.
I love this lady. I love this lady.
With inflation, and I don't care what you guys want to vote for, that's your business, but not me.
Nobody really cares what Joe Biden said because he's a babbling idiot. I mean, it's just for the what do they call it? The spin cycle on the news.
Why do you guys agree?
Well, I think the Donald Trump clan represent people that are wanting the government to take control of things and do it their way. And to me, that feels and smells of fascism.
Because they supported the attack on the Capitol with weapons and threatening to
Weapons? What weapons?
hang the vice president, and he's still calling the election a lie, even though, 19 judges said there was no basis for his complaints. So I think it's all just phony.
Okay.
He's just trying to take over.
Do you guys think the election denying is a big factor there?
Absolutely.
2016. Did Democrats largely accept the results of that election?
They did.
They did?
Yeah.
You think so too? They spent tens of millions of dollars, FBI investigations, opening into Trump-Russia collusion. Claims were that Trump was a Russian agent early on. It shifted a couple times. Is that accepting the results of the election?
It is accepting the
Absolutely.
results of the election, and the guy is a criminal.
To you then, or just what is it in general? Because if we're saying...
What kind of logic are these idiots wrapping around with that, dude? They're like, yeah, obviously. See? We investigated and, yeah, see? Russian agent. No, idiot. No.
MAGA, is it his base?
Oh, I think it is the supporters of the former president, because his logo when he was running and when he was president was MAGA, Make America Great Again. So they're his supporters.
So you think 74 million Americans that voted for him, at least, I'm sure his support's greater than that, you think they are semi-fascist?
Not necessarily, but I think that they're buying all the lies that he's telling.
You think that they all support the riot on January 6th?
I haven't heard too many of them come out against it. I haven't heard too many Republican congresspeople come out against it.
Nobody
Did you guys support the riot on January 6th?
No. Why? That's insane.
How dumb, dude. Nobody supports riots. Which is why, I don't know, we don't want to get another strike.
When we talk about January 6th, a lot of people are bringing up the other riots that were going on, saying, okay, well, there wasn't a big problem with this, but there's a big problem here. I think it's fair to say, okay, idiots that riot are idiots. Isn't that, is that fascism?
In support of the black lives who were murdered? You call that a riot?
I mean, there was like billions of dollars of damages. Minimum 25 people died.
Uh-huh.
I would call those a riot, yeah.
Okay.
Over the summer of 2020.
Okay, well, I got to go because you're just baiting me to say stuff, and I've given you my opinion. So
What I'm saying is, if it's a riot that defines fascism, does that make them fascists? All right, you guys, let's take a quick second to talk about today's sponsor, Undertac Underwear, the official underwear sponsor.
Check them out. We don't care though, so.
Best part, they're almost 30% portion of its profit.
What about
I believe he colluded.
You believe he colluded with Russia to win the
Yes.
election?
I don't know if he colluded to win the election, but he certainly.
You believe he received outside help helping
You know,
him cheat an election?
The first
My point is, like, if we're calling a group of people fascists for something that both sides,
He couldn't help but laugh right there because they literally like investigated for years. They can't find shit on Trump, dude. He's like the cleanest person ever, apparently. I don't think anybody else holds up to 8-year, FBI investigations, dude.
continuously do. How does that make any sense when it comes to denying election results?
Well,
I mean, I have a video of like 20 minutes of Democrats denying the election results for 2016 and 2018. It was stolen from Stacey Abrams, they said, even though it was a landslide victory. Stacey Abrams never conceded that election.
yeah.
I have a 20-minute montage of Democrats rejecting the election of 2016. I can show you guys if you'd like to see it. You don't want to see it? The current White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, she said that the 2016 election was stolen and the 2018 election was stolen.
But again, no court cases were filed. She
They
conceded.
spent tens of millions of dollars investigating this. Okay, so Trump-Russia collusion, no denial of the 2016 election, in your guys' opinion, or
Denial of the process.
And Hillary did file stuff in court. In what state was she trying to get recounted for no damn reason?
denial of the process,
One of
but not the election?
Well, you
It
got
happened.
It happened.
They said Trump was a Russian agent early on.
I never heard that. I mean, there's so much banter that goes on. It's hard to believe anything.
You know, we're calling half the country, 74.
That guy said it's hard to believe. You believe everything, bro. You believe everything. You're walking around with like a veil.
million Americans that voted for Donald Trump, semi-fascist.
No, I
But
wouldn't,
is
I wouldn't
is it a
say-
strong basis for saying that?
I wouldn't say half the country are semi-fascist. I would say maybe 10%.
10% of the country.
10% of the Trump people. Again, I think a lot of people don't
about
realize.
7 million people.
Yeah.
But I guess again, the question is, what makes them semi-fascist? Because 7 million people didn't storm the Capitol.
Well, look at them. They support.
We're changing the argument here.
They support Putin over Biden.
Putin didn't deny. He didn't deny his connection to Trump.
Putin didn't deny it?
No.
Okay. So that would, if he denied that, that would clear Trump?
No. I'm just
Doesn't
saying.
seem like you can win that one.
They support fascists.
What's the point there?
Fascists over our own country. When you listen to them, they were like, "Go Putin."
That's an opinion, or we have like that's like.
Well, it's an opinion based on everything that I see online.
You're talking about the MAGA group. They're what their solution, if you call it a solution, is, well, we'll just be your king. I'll be King Trump, and that will solve everything. I'll tell you all what to do.
Who is
What
the MAGA
are they
Republican there?
talking
Anybody
about?
that supported Trump? Anybody?
I would say yes.
Probably, yeah.
74 million people, MAGA Republicans. 74 million of people are semi-fascists because they believe that the election was stolen.
Think they were deluded.
Yeah. I wouldn't call them all fascists. Maybe now I would. I don't know. I mean,
What would you say fascism is, you guys?
That's a tough one. I don't know if I could define fascism. When I hear about
You've been talking about it for like 10 minutes, bro. You can't define fascism, government control. Top down. I mean, it's not hard, bro.
fascism, I think about historically people like Stalin and Hitler.
Primarily Mussolini,
'cause they were
Italian fascism. That would be like primarily what it was.
dictatorship.
Basically, top-down control.
Right.
That's just to super generalize it, right? So again, I guess my question is, we're bringing up that Republicans, MAGA Republicans, are fascist because of that willingness for centralized autocracy. Is the left not doing the same thing?
Not that, like the same thing I answered you before, not to the same extent.
So what extent are they doing it on the right then? I guess it would be my next question.
On the right, I think it's more of the thing that, first of all, they don't even have a majority, and they get away with it, you know. And even now that they're a minority, they still get away with things, you know.
Do you mind if I ask what you're talking about?
Well,
What are they
I'm
getting
talking
away with,
to
bro?
you know, things that are easily observed. I mean, there's so many sometimes that it's
There's so
it's
many,
hard
I can't give
to
you
do,
one.
You
No,
know, like
I understand it's
like,
hard to
let's
come.
That's how they explain how Trump's a racist too. Well, he's just a racist because there's just so many things. I can't give you one because there's just so many. Right, good argument, bro.
Off of it right
arm
now, but
control.
just I guess just one.
Okay, one. Arm control.
Gun control.
Gun control.
What
I
about
want to
gun
know
control?
if so many Republicans are pro
Or
Second Amendment.
Constitution, bro.
Is that something that fascists would do? Why would fascists want to increase
Arm the
gun rights in
Republic.
America?
Well, that goes back to the dumb statement.
So they're just bad fascists?
No, I'm not saying they're all fascists. I didn't say that. I'm saying that they're misinformed. They believe what's easy to believe.
We were saying 74 million are semi-fascists.
We're saying
By Joe Biden's definition, MAGA Republicans being semi-fascists. Is that correct, or am I wrong about that?
You drew that conclusion. I never agreed that every single person. I just know
Was
that
it
people are.
more of you saying they're just straight up fascists now?
I wouldn't call them all fascists. Maybe now I would.
So we're backing away from the
Easy.
semi-fascist claim then. Is that correct or no? Am I wrong?
I don't know who you're talking about right now. I mean, you can't take 74 million people and say they're all this. You
Well, that's
can't.
what Biden
It's
did.
impossible.
So what did Joe Biden mean when he referred to MAGA Republicans? You guys considered it to be people that supported Donald Trump. Those 74 million people.
Well, I think that's
What's
true.
wrong with my
And
mustache?
I think
Crazy.
the question in my mind is whether or not they can all be considered fascists. That is unlikely.
Most of them don't even know what that word means.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I could define fascism.
So would we disagree with just the an original comment then? Because it seems as though we're getting in a little bit of gray area here of like what the heck is semi-fascism and what the heck is a MAGA Republican.
Apparently, if you don't need the government, you want to be able to, and you can take care of yourself, that makes you dumb. But if you suckle the government teat, you're highly intelligent? What is she saying? I don't get it.
And how many of them? Would we disagree with the original statement of MAGA Republicans are semi-fascists?
To believe in, I would.
You see what I'm trying to get at?
I don't know that they understand that that's what they are, but they are believing rhetoric and behavior that is that is fascist.
And that rhetoric and that behavior is what?
That we should
The
rid
election?
democracy, that we should have a king, that we should have a dictator tell
Nobody
us
wants
what
that.
to do.
We're talking about top-down leadership, like centralized autocracy, centralized leadership. Joe Biden's one of the greatest centralizers of the federal government in American history. Has that been a problem for you guys?
No.
He's done a lot of good stuff.
So just to clarify,
lot
because
of good
there's
stuff.
not enough.
I hope he follows up with that moron with, can you name one good thing? See if she unravels there.
Gun control is because the right is being fascist?
No, it's because it's money. People, they want to sell arms.
Back to the semi-fascism comment, though.
Yeah.
Does this have anything to do with the semi-fascist comment?
Yes, the fact that they, like I say, they pass laws to continue that, even though they know that the majority of Americans don't want that, they still pass it. That's fascism. This is like, we know better. We know better than you.
Well, we have the Second Amendment. We're talking about passing laws that are restricting Second Amendment rights. Is that correct?
No, it's not restricting Second Amendment rights if you read the Second Amendment correctly. And when it was done, this is the other thing, that, the Constitution is, it's not the Bible or the same thing. I don't believe also in the Bible being the ultimate word.
We're talking about removing stuff. We're talking about taking something away. We're not talking about adding policies that legalize
Removing,
AR-15s.
I would agree to remove the AR-15s. We don't need to do that. Nobody needs that unless you're going to war. You're going to defend against soldiers. So this is the same thing that pisses me off. And I don't think, in this case, I think that's fascism. And
That's fascism.
Yeah.
Our big worry was a guy just ruling from the top. And Joe Biden has bypassed Congress multiple times with legislation such as...
What's crazy though is like the people he's talking to are not young. Like these people are 15, 20 years older than me. And they're still walking around this stupid? This guy thinks stopping more laws restricting the Constitution is fascism? Oh my God, bro. Hey, what are we even talking about? What's happening right now?
Donald Trump.
Not as much as Joe Biden so far, for sure not. We're talking about federal eviction moratorium, bypassing Congress for that, using the CDC to enforce that.
Look who's in Congress. Who's in Congress, right? You don't have people
The
who
Democrats
are...
You bypass them to do it too.
What would you call it? Like, really representing the people.
So if you have, gridlock, it happens very often. It shifts from majority blue to majority red, depending on what administration.
He's more representing the people, each person, not the political game.
So if they can't get through Congress, you guys are okay with bypassing Congress to create legislation like what I just brought up, the CDC enforcing federal eviction moratorium?
Yes, if it helps the majority of people, yes.
Okay.
It'd be nice if the process.
So you're a fascist. You want the one ruler to go above the elected representatives of the people to do what he thinks is correct. Like, do these people not hear themselves speak? You know what I mean? Like, are you aware of the words coming out of your mouth? I'm not sure.
That's worked the way it was supposed to.
Yeah, and it doesn't.
And there was
The process was never supposed to be just a simple majority rules. That's not the process in the United States.
Right.
Whatever they do, they say the other side does that, right? We're the fascists, right? They're the ones who are attacking our democracy. They want to attack the Supreme Court. They want to attack the U.S. Senate by stacking the Senate in Washington State. They're suppressing the news, the First Amendment rights. A bad story just before the election comes out in the New York Post, they suppress that.
I would disagree with that rhetoric.
Why would you disagree with that rhetoric, would you say?
Because I don't think that MAGA people are necessarily fascist people. I think they're ordinary citizens who want a better America.
The other week or other month, he declared that he could
Good for you,
relieve $500 billion of student loan debt just like that, even though he has no constitutional authority to do that.
But it's okay to bring a gun and kill a bunch of kids at school?
That's illegal.
It's illegal? There's open carry states. It's illegal to murder, but it's okay to open carry?
It is.
Did you get
that? To answer your question, yes, it's illegal to murder, but it is legal to open carry in many states.
And
Those two are
we're
very
not-
different
we're
things.
Not concerned with that. That's okay for all the MAGA.
Just because you carry a gun doesn't mean you're going to kill children. What is wrong with this lady? I carry every day now to protect my children. Not to kill other people's children. What are we talking about here, dude? No one wants to kill children.
Republic. I need my guns. They don't care.
MAGA Republicans don't care about children being killed?
No.
If you're worried about a fascist uprising in the country, why would you be supporting the removal of firearms? Doesn't that seem...
I'm not saying that there would be a fascism. I'm saying that it could turn into fascism. But if you give more arms to people, then you were asking is for civil war. And the last time, I don't think it was a very nice picture, and I don't want to live it again.
So to resist fascism, semi-fascism, or fascism, to resist that, you think that turning over the guns would prevent that uprising, you would say? Turning over your guns to the federal government?
That you said it that way. I don't even see it that way. When I say guns away is to stop killing innocent people and people that get ideas that they can kill many people before they get killed. So there has nothing to do. I mean, that was your premise.
I'm just trying to clarify because we're talking about a fascist uprising. If we're actually worried about a fascist uprising, why would you want to remove weapons from the population?
You're talking hypothetical. I've never talked about an uprising of fascism. You know.
The reason why I say that is we're talking about MAGA Republicans, 74 million people that supported Donald Trump being semi-fascists.
Right.
I don't. So we are talking about basically a fascist movement in the country.
Exactly. And if that happens,
I
said we don't need to be like them.
Why would we want to restrict gun rights?
That guy just gave me a headache, I think. I couldn't even. The somersaults going on in that guy's brain, bro.
In the United States, if that was an actual worry in our country.
Why would we want to restrict gun rights?
That's correct. If you're worried about fascist uprising, would you want to restrict gun rights for citizens?
Yeah, because with you're going 2 steps down without. You got to stop it before it happens.
So to stop these fascists, we need to take away all their guns. They need to hand their guns to the federal government.
They need guns should not be allowed in the hands of citizens. If someone gets upset, you cut in line over a gas pump, and they can just shoot you. You think that's good?
That sounds like murder. We're saying yes, if we agree
murder.
with it, bypass Congress, create legislation, also take away their guns, also they're the semi-fascists. Why do you think he said that about Republicans? Just curious.
I think he's scared about the upcoming elections. I think the midterms, if I was a Democrat, I would be scared to death with the inflation, with taxes, with the general malaise of everybody. I mean, I don't feel good about the country. I don't feel good about the country at all right now. So when that happens is when you seek change.
I think we all need to choose our words wisely.
Okay.
And I'm not sure I would have chosen those words. I am not a big MAGA fan. And but I can understand why he was saying that. I think it's very inflammatory words.
Why do you think he said that?
Boy, that's a good question, because it does nothing to help him and his cause. It just adds to the problem. He's trying to show that there's a big difference between the left and the right, and he's trying to draw these conclusions that simply don't exist. Half the country is semi-fascist. It's ridiculous.
He's desperate, confused, old.
He's either senile and he's out of his mind, or he's trying to get the attention of the ultra.
So, did you see the Trump supporter and the non-Trump supporter literally both think he's a senile, crazy... Wow.
Right Republicans.
And we're just good with it, apparently.
Try to make some purposely, I think, inflammatory comments to win people over to his side.
He's an idiot, and he's trying to cover for his own all of the problems that he's causing, and he's probably just repeating what someone told him to say.
So instead of focusing on what's going on right now, you think it's elections coming up, focus on those guys?
100%.
Well, they want to focus on Trump more, so that way they're not focused on all of Biden's shortcomings and all the things. So that's their plan. Let's focus on Trump, and the Republicans, what they need to do is focus on Biden and not on Trump.
How good of a job do you think that Joe Biden's done at uniting the country?
You can do better.
You can do better.
Mm-hmm. Well, the fact that he's using words like fascist, probably not going to unite anybody. It's going to further divide. I don't know that he's united.
All right, everyone, that is it for today. So I definitely tried to dig a little bit deeper into the specifics of Joe Biden's claim that MAGA Republicans are semi-fascist. Let me know what you guys thought about what people had to say.
All right, guys, we're going to end it right there. So that's James Klug, man on the street. Do people think Republicans are fascist? And apparently, if you're a dumbass liberal, you do. Because you don't live in reality and you don't know what words mean. All right, guys, thanks for stopping by McClure's.store. You can pick up your American merch. Take care.